Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so today I am in Beverly Hills, California at David Rivero's Monetize Talks. I come to this every month, and let me tell you, it's spectacular. He does this mastermind. He brings in these world-class speakers. I learn a lot. The audience learns a lot. And then I always get the privilege of doing a bunch of interviews. And today, who walked into the room, a return guest, Stephen Meade, the Bullseye Guy, one of my mentors, helps me put things together all the time. I got a deal. I got something really big to work on. I'm bugging Stephen. I'm like, Stephen, come on, man. And lend me that ear. Let me give you some advice, man. How does this work? What should I be doing next? So first off, Stephen, I just want to say welcome back to the show, man. It's good to see you.
Thank you. And I'm going to give you some kudos because not only am I a returning guest, I was one of the early ones.
Ooh.
Back from when you started and just the growth of the mission and you.
I think
and
you
the
were
whole,
there with Money Matters Top
it was
Tips,
Money
so
Matters.
That's a solid 7-8 years ago.
Yeah. So this has been a tremendous journey for you, and congratulations, you're doing great.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Yeah. And I've seen what you've been doing, and I wanna start with a little bit on the last time that we seen each other out in Miami.
Yep.
So we were at FII. There was a lot going on, and I noticed like part of your career, and from me looking in from afar, and I'd like you to elaborate on some of the questions I've always asked. I noticed that you're always at these really high-end events.
Okay.
There's always players. There's always like Milken Conference next week. You're going to be there.
Global, yeah.
Milken Global Conference in Beverly Hills. You're always in Saudi. You're in Dubai. You're doing all these other like big things. Like, let us into your world. Like, what's behind the scenes and what's some of the action? Because I know you're very targeted. I know you're direct.
I appreciate it. So I'll build a little bit of arc in for context.
Yeah.
22, I went to work for Travelers Group sales training, read 357 books, 6.5 years, trained about 8,000 salespeople.
Wow.
And part of what that was to a good salesperson is you don't convince anybody to do anything, they convince themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned a lot of psychological, we'll call it manipulation. I called it psychological jujitsu because my goal was to convince you it was in your best interest to come work for me to go sell insurance.
Yeah.
The reality is it really wasn't, but that's okay because we were taught you can't measure the man or a woman's heart, and so you had to give them an opportunity.
Yeah.
Point of that is many years later, I realized I don't like convincing other people to do things that they aren't passionate about. So as I said I have a system and I've got 10 steps that I can say, okay, here's what I want my life to be like. Here's the kind of companies I want to build. Here's what I want to do. So I have a very specific framework as an entrepreneur that says, here's what I want my life to be like if I have everything I want. And one, it lets me measure opportunities. So when you talk about where I am and what I do, one of the things on this list was I wanted to be able to help other people be successful at what they're already passionate about. Two, I wanted to be in a position with, athletes and billionaires and the best events in the world, not because I'm egotistical. I like learning from people that are in the executive entrepreneur class, different than the creative class. And neither one's better or different, but they're markedly different. And so I've built my life around saying, what kind of companies can I start that allow me to be at the events that I want to be at with the kind of people I want to be around?
Yeah.
And so some of them you mentioned are purposely some of the top ones in the world that I've been fortunate to do for 10, 12, 15 years.
Yeah.
But they're different. I'll give one quick example, Adam, that's on energy. Like I'm big on energy and stuff. And I have lots of friends that are in Burning Man. And Burning Man's great. I have friends that are there and I was like, oh, Stephen, come to Burning Man. There's billionaires. And I'm like, like I said, I'd rather be on a yacht in Monaco than a yurt in the desert. There's great people in both. I just prefer a yacht in Monaco versus a yurt in the desert. That's not that one's better, but they're markedly different in energy and expectations. And so I've picked and am fortunate to just attend some of the best events in the world of things I'm interested in those the realms primarily of financial services and fintech and things that are kind of leading edge.
Yeah. And so any projects that you're working on that you care to talk about now? Like, I know you guys got a ton of things going on. This is good catching up for me too, by the way, because I can't keep track of you, man.
Yeah, they range. So some are really interesting and they're far. And I'll share one. We just signed a contract yesterday, which is kind of interesting. So we do green bonds, which is, it's a very narrow niche, but it's a $30 trillion niche.
Oh, hold on. For everybody at home, he said trillion with the T. That's why I like Stephen, because he thinks small. Like, I mean.
So this is a $30 trillion niche where banks have mandated funding for sustainable projects. And we signed, again, I'm going to give you the number, but the number's massive and it's not, we're not writing checks. We're helping it. We just signed a $16 billion with a B structured bond and to build a sustainable plant. It's a sustainable power plant in Indonesia. So we have a company that helps governments and big companies qualify for big projects with sustainable financing. It's cool. It's interesting. It's boring. One of the more exciting ones that we're working on, and again, I joke about crypto. People love crypto. We were big in crypto for years. 2017, 18, Malta, Bermuda, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Oman, like all over. Crypto's cool. I like it, and I like saying things that are a bit argumentative and then adding context at them. And I'm like, people go, "Oh, Stephen, why aren't you doing crypto?" I'm like, I outgrew it. It's too small. Like, what do you mean small? Like, too small. It doesn't matter. Oh, it's big. And so then I give very specific numbers that are easy. This will kind of help where my mind's going now on these things. If you take Bitcoin out of the cryptocurrency asset pool, there's 1 million cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, 1 million cryptocurrencies, and the total value is $1.3 trillion. So 1 million currencies to 1.3 trillion. In the world of real finance, there's 28,000 public companies around the world on multiple stock exchanges, New York, Luxembourg, London. 28,000 companies that have 10 million or more in revenue. Take a guess what those companies are worth collectively. 28,000. Take a guess.
I got no idea. What's
$109 trillion.
100 times.
So let's think about it. There's 28,000 companies collectively around the world worth $109 trillion. And there's 1 million cryptocurrencies worth $1 trillion. That to me is a little difference. Here's the gap. There's 5 million companies in the world that are still private that are $10 million and up in revenue. So you just did the math, right? From 1 trillion to 109 trillion is 100x. To go from 28,000 to 5 million, ChatGPT spit me out. I tried to do a bar graph. They're like, no, we can't calculate. It's like 14 gazillion gabillion. Like ChatGPT's like, no, we can't do anything that big. So we're in the process of launching a digital stock exchange. It's basically taking a blockchain exchange. There's no such thing as a crypto exchange. Crypto is the asset that runs on the exchange, like a true stock exchange is trading stock, but the exchange is the technology. So we're going to take a blockchain exchange and move it over into a digital stock world. So we're going to take the new advantages of crypto blockchain exchange and put it in institutional and go after a market of 5 million companies, 10 million and up that have never gone public.
Wow.
What is that going to scale to? No idea. There's 28,000 companies now worth 100 trillion. There's 1 million cryptocurrencies because it's quicker, faster, easier. There's a multitude of reasons you can do crypto. We're just going to do a big mashup and see what happens.
Oh, I love this. I like a big mashup with big numbers, and I like you heading that.
The numbers are weird. When we were doing the math and I kept running it through, I'm like, this can't be right, but it's right. It's right.
So, Stephen, I know you got a lot of things going on here. We won't keep you too long, but last question here.
Sure.
Relationships, long-term relationships, business relationships. Like I've noticed, people that your name, when I talk to different people, Christopher Kai, our good buddy, just other people, like you have long-term relationships. You keep people close. What is the word relationships, like business relationships? What does that mean to you? Like what's the importance?
It's a great question, Adam. And again, on my top 10 list of things, I don't know if you remember what I said.
I didn't know that was one of the list.
Number 2 on there is I want to build companies that help other people be successful at what they're passionate about. And I have a 10-step program called a Bullseye Belief System. I don't sell it or teach. It's just I had to build this structure. Number 2 of my 10 is called Wifu Wifum. We're in LA, Hollywood, beautiful house. You have an amazing setup here. Hollywood is a lot about Wifum. What's in it for me? Who are you? What can you do for me? Who do you know? The inverse is WIFU is what's in it for you, then what's in it for me.
Yeah.
So if you really approach things of not walking up going, oh, how can I help you? Like the whole how can I help you crowd bugs me. But if you're really curious about what people are doing, what they're passionate about, not what they do, but what they need, you can have friendships and relationships over time because you know just enough about what that person's passionate about to always be able to keep them in mind. So never discount relationships. You don't know who they know. Everybody knows somebody important. So there may not be anything you can do to help them.
Yeah.
They may not be able to help you, but that doesn't mean it won't change one day. Everything's not purely transactional, but you can get more strategic about how to make it transactional, but it all doesn't have to be that way at the end.
Fantastic. Stephen, last thing I want you to do, look into the camera. How can people follow you? How can they learn more? How can they learn more about your programs too and check out your content? You have a show too. I mean, a lot of other things I don't plug it. I know you don't. I know you don't like your newsletter. I've been in your newsletter for years.
My newsletter is great. People love that.
I love it. Yeah, whenever there's one that comes out, so I'm not blowing
I have one coming out. So basically, Stephen Meade, it's the bullseyeguy.com. Big Bamboo is there. The bullseyeguy.com and thank you, Adam, for saying it. It's actually a personal branded site. And it has a lot of the podcasts and content and information on there. So it's got 3 sections. One is interviews, where I'm fortunate like you. I get to do great interviews with people, Mark Victor Hansen and Salim Ismail. Like, I'm not going to name drop, like just a bunch of really cool people. We have a middle section on blockchain and fintech, and I make predictions. And then the third section for the entrepreneurs is tips and techniques. So a lot of the things I've learned, I put in there, and I put the podcast out not to build an audience, not to make money. I put it out there to help transfer knowledge. And I put it out there so I can say, oh, I said this. Like I predicted Bitcoin would be $100,000 in 2020. It came true. So I put it out more for credibility. But yeah, the bullseyeguy.com.
Fantastic. And so we'll put that in the show notes, and appreciate you coming on, Stephen.
All right, Adam. Keep up the great work. Thank you.